All right, so it's Friday. We're gonna do this warm up, and then you're gonna turn these in. Just remember to put absent any of the days we're absent for me, please. So here we go. Is First of all, is this the factor? Is a equal to one here? If there's no number, a is equal to one. Hey, look over here. So I'm gonna find the factor pairs of the c value one, and what's the only thing that multiplies to make one? One times one. Also negative one times negative one. Which one of those adds up to make two? One plus one gives you two. One times one gives you one. Okay. So you just break it into two parentheses. X plus one, x plus one. That's it for factoring. Okay. They're not asking you to solve it. They're asking you just to factor. That's it. Okay. So we're gonna do some notes. I'm gonna pass out these notes and make sure your name is on your warm-ups. Make sure your every day has something. Put absent on the days you were absent, and I'll pick that up. Look. So yeah, we got them up right now. All right, any more room up? Yeah, yeah. All right, here we go. If it ever loads. There we go. Okay. So everyone has this. We are going to do notes on quadratic equation. Okay. So this is not what I gave y'all. I need 7.4. My bad. 7.4. There we go. 7.4. There we go. Okay. So the quadratic formula. Hey, phone's away. Please. Now, this says, what is the quadratic formula? First of all, before we get to it, it's right there. Sometimes you can use factoring like we've been doing the last couple weeks, right? Factoring's cool, but it doesn't always work. That's the sad part, right? Underline that. Doesn't always work. Womp womp. Okay, so what do you do if factoring doesn't always give you the right answer, right? By the way, factoring, whenever we've been doing it, gives you whole numbers, but sometimes the answers are decimals and weird stuff. So again, it doesn't always work, but the quadratic formula always works. Okay, but it only works for what's called standard form. Y'all remember this form? Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. If you have it in ax squared plus bx plus c, the ABC form, then you can put it into this equation. Okay, this formula, quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus minus. Y'all see how that plus sign looks like it's underlined? It's called plus or minus. Okay, the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. That big, ugly, disgusting equation is the quadratic formula. Okay, It only works, and you can only solve the equation of this form if the right-hand side is what? What does that have right there? If it equals 0, okay? So if your equation doesn't equal 0, you've got to get it equal to 0, put it into what we call standard form, okay? And then you can use this, okay? Now, back in my day, when I was your age, we used this to solve quadratic equations, but we had to have it memorized. Now, who wants to memorize this? No one? So back in the day, we had to do that, and we would memorize it by singing a song. Who likes singing songs? I didn't see no. So let's sing a song, right? Now you may have heard this top 10 hit called Row, Row, Row Your Boat. You know? It's a banger, right? It's a bop. Straight fire, right? Now if you could take the Row, Row, Row Your Boat song and instead of talking about silly things like rowing your boat, and instead talking about the roots of a quadratic function, this is how it would sound. Ready? You can all sing along with me at the same time. Ready? Because you already know. You already know, right? You don't know? You don't know how to, row your boat? Look at that. That's the lyrics. Ready? Yeah, ready? Here we go. I'll do it first, and then y'all can all do it all at once. Right? Here we go. So, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. That's how it goes. No, it's like totally rolls off the tongue, it's like easy. Like you got it all memorized now, you know what I'm saying? All right. Like, give me another song, we can make it happen, Happy birthday. X equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. That's the quadratic formula. That's good, right? Give me another one. You got another one? All right. Who's ready to sing it? Dang, that's so many people that are ready to sing it. Okay, well, anyways. Well, that was back in the 90s or 2000s or whenever I don't even remember. So, but instead of having to memorize it, let's just use it. So if you can at least look at this is what it is. We're going to use that down here. Cool. Now, first things first. On example 1 here, is this equal to 0? Yes. So we need to figure out a, b, and c. So what's in front of x squared? What's my a value? What's in front of x squared? 2. What's my b value in front of x? 14, and then my c value out here is 10. Everyone's able to figure out a, b, and c if it equals 0. That's easy. Okay, now here's where it gets a little complicated. Hey, wake up. We need to plug it into that equation, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scratch this out over here, factoring. We're going to just do this with quadratic formula, okay? Let's write it down. First of all, x equals. Now, when it says negative b, what do you think negative b is? If b is 14, what's negative b? Negative 14. Let's write that down. So x equals negative 14 plus minus square root. B squared is going to be what squared? What's my b? 14, right? So it's going to be 14 squared. And then it says minus 4ac. So go ahead and put minus 4. A is 2. C is 10. Okay? All over 2a. 2, and then a is 2. Okay? Now, I know it's ugly and there's like a lot to it, but that's it. Okay? Now, here's the deal. This is where it gets a little bit weird. Do you see this plus minus sign right here that I just circled? This thing right here. That means it's going to be two equations, one with a plus sign and one with a minus sign. Okay, so I know it's a lot to write, but I'm going to split this into two different equations, one with the plus sign and one with the minus sign. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite it. Ready? So I got x equals negative 14 plus the square root of 14 squared minus 4 times 2 times 10 divided by 2 times 2. And then I'm going to write it again, but I'm going to write it with a, instead of a plus sign, I'm going to use a minus sign. 14 squared minus 4 times 2 times 10 divided by 2 times 2. Okay, so I know it's a lot of writing. I'm going to give you a minute to write all that down. Okay. One has a plus sign, and one has a minus sign. Okay. Two equations. Okay, now, after all that, the way you get your answer is by plugging it in the calculator. Does everyone have a yellow calculator? You should get one. Hey, you should get a calculator. You should get a calculator. Yes? Hey, you want to get one? So you can plug these in. This, yeah, go get one. This can be a little complicated on typing it in. I want to make sure everyone knows how to type it in. So here we go. I'm going to type in the one, oh my gosh, on the left. Look. There. Okay, I'm going to go to a new document, add a calculator, and I'm going to type this in. So everybody, how do I make a big fraction bar? What buttons do I press for a fraction? Does everyone know Control Divide will make a fraction bar? First, you need to do that. Okay, so Control Divide. Let's start typing this in. Ready? Negative 14. Negative 14 plus square root 14 squared minus 4 parentheses 2 parentheses 10 go down 2 parentheses 2. Okay, see if you can get that typed in correctly. This and this. You got to make a fraction bar first, right? Hit enter, and you should get the answer. But I want to make sure you type these in correctly. If you can't type it in, you ain't going to be able to get it, right? So you should get negative 0.81 in round term. But it looks like that. Cool? Now, that's only one of the answers. What about this one? The only difference is the minus sign, right? Plus, and this one's minus. So before you Like, who wants to practice all over again? Not me. Okay. Check this out. Look, everyone, look. If you want, to just like change this to a minus, go up twice, highlight it, press Enter, and now it copies it down here, and you can just change that plus to a minus. Oh my gosh. Okay. So again, if you typed it the first time correctly, highlight it, hit Enter, change that plus to a minus. Now you get your two answers. Okay, if we tried to factor, we would never get these weird decimals, right? But sometimes the answer is weird decimals. Cool. So my first answer was negative 0.81. What is going on? Negative 0.81. And then the other one was negative 6.19. Okay. If I can scroll. Nothing is working. Okay, well, after all that, okay, well, this document is going nuts. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so flip it over. We're going to do it again. Is this equal to 0 right here? What do you think? Yeah, it says equals 0, so everything's good to go. So my A value, if there is no number out front, what number is there? 1, right? So like we said, if there's no number out front, A equals 1. All right, what's B in front of the X? Negative 8. And what's C? 15, right? Okay, now let's go ahead and write the quadratic formula over here. So again, whether you sing it or not, X equals negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC divided by 2A. Cool. So let's do the positive one over here. So x equals negative b. First of all, negative b. If b is already negative, guess what you're going to write? So negative b means the opposite of b. What's the opposite of a negative 8? Okay, positive 8. So let's go and write 8 plus the square root. Okay, b squared is going to be negative 8 squared. So I'm going to use parentheses. Please use parentheses when you square a negative number. Minus 4, a is 1, and then c is 15. Divided by 2a, 2 times 1. Okay? So there's a positive one with a plus sign, and then we got to do another one with a negative sign. Okay? Do you see how I'm just replacing A and B and C? Can you type those into the calculator to get your solutions? Okay? Let's try it. So pull this over here. Let's type this in. Ready? So again, don't write the x equals. We're just going to start the fraction. How do I get a fraction? Control divide. Let's go ahead and start writing this, typing this in. 8 plus square root parentheses negative 8 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 15. Go to the bottom, 2 times a, which is 1. Okay. Do you see that I typed it in to match this? I hit enter, and I got 5. Sometimes you get a nice whole clean number. Cool. If I want to do the other one over here with the minus sign, go to your calculator, go up to, hit enter, and then all you got to do is change that plus sign into a minus sign. And I got 3. Okay? X equals 3. Are you seeing how this works? If you know A, if you know B, if you know C, you can type it in the you can type it into this equation. Make sure you do both. One with a plus sign in the middle, one with a minus sign in the middle. Right here and right here. Those are the differences. Okay, so that's it for the 2 examples. Now at the bottom of the page, we got 4 examples to do. So let's do it real quick. Ready? Is this first one equal to 0? Right? So I'm going to do x equals negative b. What's my, first of all, a, b, and c. What's my a? 4. What's my b? 8. What's my c? All right, so let's plug it in. X equals negative b, so it's negative 8, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 8 squared, minus 4 times a times c. A is 4, c is 3. Notice how I put them in parentheses? Divided by 2 times a, which is 2 times 4. Okay? So I'm going to type that into my calculator here. So I got control divide, negative 8 plus square root 8 squared minus 4 parentheses 4 parentheses 3 divided by 2 times 4. Okay, I type it in, I got negative 1/2. Go back up, twice, hit enter, change that plus in the middle to a minus, and that gave me -3/2. So I got one with the plus sign, one with the minus sign. I get -1/2, -3/2. And you could just put your answer in brackets like this. You either have two x equals or you have them in brackets. Either way is fine. Okay. Do you see how this works? A, B, and C, plug them into the formula, right? You have two answers. Is the next one equal to 0? Oh, yeah. So what's my A value here? 2. What's my B value here? What's the B value in the middle? -7. Careful with the signs. And then C is what? What's C? -3. All right, let's plug it into the equation. X equals -b. What's the opposite of this b value? What's the opposite of -7? +7. So x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared. Please remember to put it in parentheses when you square it. So -7 squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. And again, type it in. Control divide 7 plus the square root, parentheses, -7 squared minus 4ac. Okay. Again, if I type it in exactly the way I see it, I hit enter. One of my answers is going to be 3. Go back up 2, hit enter, and go change that plus sign into a minus sign. So I got two answers, 3 and 1/2. So x equals 3, x equals 1/2. Cool. You can put it in brackets with the smallest one first. Okay. Now the ones below this, notice these next two do not equal 0. So don't start doing ABC just yet. You need to set these equal to 0. So if I need this to be equal 0, I need to get rid of this 10. How do I get rid of a positive 10? Subtract it. So -10 on both sides. Here we go. -10, -10. It's going to go after. So now I will have 2x squared, 2x squared minus 3x minus 10 equals 0. Now that it's equal to 0, I can write my A, my B, and my C. A is 2, B is -3, and C is -10. So once again, x equals -b. The opposite of -3 is +3, plus or minus the square root. B squared, if it's -3, please put it in parentheses before you square it. -4 times 2 times -10 divided by 2a, 2 times 2. Could you take that and plug it into the calculator? So there we go. Control divide, first of all. 3 plus square root, parentheses, -3 squared, minus 4 times 2 times -10, all over 2 times 2. I hit enter. I get 3.1085. I go up twice, I hit enter. I'm going to change that plus to a minus. There you go. All right. So my answer is 3.11. And then the other one is x equals negative 1.61. You can, again, put it in brackets with the smallest one first. And again, I have to round. That's why I'm getting these numbers, okay? Now, last one. This needs to equal 0 again, okay? Right now, it does not equal 0. So what we can do is move both of these terms. Get rid of the minus 9x with the plus 9x. Get rid of the minus 7 with the plus 7. So I have negative x squared plus 9x plus 7 equals 0. All right. A, B, and C. If A has negative nothing, that means negative 1. So A is negative 1, B is 9, and then C is 7. Once again, put it in the quadratic formula. Okay, so x equals negative b, so negative 9, plus or minus the square root of b squared, 9 squared, minus 4 times a times c divided by 2a. So I bring over my calculator and I'm going to type that one in. Control divide, negative 9 plus square root 9 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times 7 over 2a. I hit enter. I get this. I go back up. I hit enter. I change that plus to a minus, and I get this. Whoops. Try it again. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's just retype it because it's being crazy. Negative 9 minus 9 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times 7 over 2 times 1. Get negative 9.72. And the other one we have was 0.72. Again, you can write it with the smallest one first. All right, so I know that was a lot, but those are all the examples we have from the notes. We're going to use that on Monday when we do this, all right?